Next topic that we are going to discuss in detail is your asynchronous counter and your synchronous counter. So this is a very important topic and we are going to discuss in a great detail now with your applications and all. So first of all, let's discuss what counter actually is. So a counter can be defined as a sequential circuit and we also call it a finite state machine because it is having a finite number of states. Suppose you are having your 3-bit counter, then what will happen? It will count maximum of 8 states. So the states are fixed and the sequence is also fixed depending upon our programming. The next is the state in which your counter is operating is actually being stored in the flip-flop. And also when we say that if you are using n-bit counter, then it will supposed to use n flip-flops. So 3-bit counters, 3 flip-flops, and on the basis of that it will count maximum of 2 raised to power n states. So that we have discussed in the beginning. So suppose you are having a 2-bit counter. So 2-bit counter means you are having a 2 flip-flops. So 2-bit counters are, suppose DA and DB are 2 counters. So number of inputs are 2. So number of states will be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. So from 0, 0 it will go to 0, 1. Then from 0, 1 it will go to 1, 0 and then 1, 1 and it will reset to the normal state. Similarly for 3-bit counter, it will start from here or any state and it can count in this particular sequence. So that's just a brief definition of your counter. Now coming towards another aspect that is very important as far as your system is being concerned, the difference between two kinds of counters. So two types of counters are synchronous counter and another one is asynchronous counter. So when I am using the term synchronous, it means all the flip-flops. So I am using this short term, flip-flops are provided with the same clock. And when we talk about asynchronous, different clocks are there. And if I am right, I am not using the term different clocks, data from preceding state act as clock to the next stage. So suppose this is your flip-flop, this is your another flip-flop. So its output will act as a clock for the next state. So this is for your asynchronous counter. While in your synchronous counter, suppose these are your flip-flops and this is your clock. So this clock is actually being provided to all the flip-flops. So this is the basic definition for synchronous and asynchronous. We can say your synchronous is faster and this is slower. The reason for that is your system will take some finite time to process the data and your clock is readily available. So this makes your synchronous faster and asynchronous slower, but there is still a lot of tussle in there. So we cannot say. These days asynchronous systems are also being designed and they are much more faster. Now coming towards clock. How much clock frequency you are going to provide to the synchronous systems. So your clock time should be greater than propagation delay of flip-flop. This is for synchronous. And your clock timings here should be greater than equal to n times the propagation delay of flip flops. So, where n is your number of stages you are using. So, here you are using 2 stages, it becomes 2. If it is 3, then it is 3. So, this is propagation delay for your individual flip flop. So, what is propagation delay? You are providing input and you are getting output. So, the lapse between availability of output and your application of input is called your propagation delay. Okay. So, another difference that is there is any count sequence is possible. So, it does not mean that you are having a 3-bit and you can count 4-bit. No, in 3-bit any count you will have. You will have suppose you are having 0 to 7. So, it can count 7 first. It can count like this 1, 2, 3, 5 or 1, 3, 5, whatever it may be. So, it can count in any sequence. Here it is fixed. Either it can go for up count or it can go for down count. Okay. And last several examples. So, examples are your ring counter and your Johnson ring counter. So, we are going to discuss them in the coming classes, and here your example is ripple counter. So, this is just a basic idea about your several systems. Now, we will start discussing some of the counters one by one. So, the first counter we are going to discuss is your ripple counter. So, your ripple counter, the name ripple name seems to familiar with you. So, it is a asynchronous counter. Second is it is being used in toggle mode and it can be designed for up sequence as well as down sequence. And one more thing that is important as far as ripple counter is being concerned, that clock is provided to first flip flop. Okay. And the system to which we are providing the clock is acting as LSB of the counter. So, let us discuss some examples so that you can get a very good idea how things are being done in a proper fashion. So, the first example which we are going to discuss is 2-bit ripple counter. So, 2-bit ripple counter we are going to design. So, first of all, for 2-bit ripple counters you need 2 JK flip flops, so these are the 2 JK flip flops and 2 inputs are there for them. Then as discussed already, that first one is being provided the clock and output of the second will act as a clock for the next. And here you are getting the output. As already discussed, this is your Q naught, or we can say this is your LSB, this is your Q1, this is actually your MSB. So here you are getting Q naught, here you are getting Q1. So this will be your sequence in which your system is going to count. Now when clock is there, so what are the possible states it can have? Q1, Q naught. So clock is high, so it will count, start from 0 0. The next sequence will be 0 1. The next sequence will be 1 0. The next sequence will be 1 1, and last sequence will be 0 0. So it can be counting in any of the sequence. So depending upon what we are actually applying, it will give you the output. So there is no hard and fast rule that we will use it as up counter or down counter. It can be based on our requirement. So this is quite simple to understand that how things are being actually happening here. For that I will be drawing the waveforms. So your clock is there. So I will be drawing this smaller diagrams so that you get the better idea on your screens. So this is your clock. Okay, so it is having 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 cycles, and we assume the system to be positive as triggered. Okay, now we know that J and K are 1, and the first is Q naught. So when your input is high, initially we think that all the systems are cleared. So input is high, so it is going to toggle. Toggle means 0 becomes 1, and on the next pulse again it becomes 0, and again at the next pulse it will becomes 1. Again at this pulse it becomes 0, and again at this pulse it will becomes 1. So this is how your system is behaving when you are actually applying the inputs. Now Q naught is actually acting as clock to this. So how Q1 is going to behave, that's important. So initially let's assume that Q1 is also 0. So when Q naught is there, Jk is high, so it gives triggering to this, and your Q1 becomes 1. So now this is triggering, this is triggering. So in between there is no change. So it will be going like this. Now at this again Jk is high, so this will toggle, and again at the cycle this will toggle. So based on this, your states are 1 1, this is your 1 0, and this is your 1 0, and this is your 0 0. So this is how you can see your system is actually counting from 1 1, then 1 0, then 0 1, and then 0 0. After that again your system becomes 1 1. So it's a simple thing, and you get quite a good idea that how things are being actually accomplished in a asynchronous counter. So if you are having any doubt, we will be discussing about this, otherwise we will proceed ahead. So this is 0, so this becomes high. Again at this state, because previous state is 0 1, so it toggles. Now previous state is 0, it becomes 1, and previous state is 1, it becomes 0. And previous state is 1, it becomes this. So this is how things change. Now here you can see immediately your output becomes 1, it is available, we assume that it is available. Actually, it is not available. We assume that it is available. If it is not available, then what will happen? Prayer is 0, so clock is 0, this will not operate, and your output will be like this. And here, at this moment, your system is getting output. So we will not be discussing that. So we will be assuming that this state is readily available to us. So when it is readily available, so this becomes 1. So immediately it becomes 1. This will be activated, and this will be activated. Your system will be high. Now the next edge to this will be at after its duration 2n. So it will be high for this duration, and at this is high. So it will see that in the previous state your system is high. So now it will toggle. Again, after 2n, it will see what is the previous state. So previous state is Q naught. So it will be high. So this is how your 2-bit counter works like.